ओके। ईट स्लीप ड्रिंक क्रिकेट में सबका स्वागत है। और हमारे साथ हैं भास्कर, जो शायद एग्जॉटिक लोकेशन में अपना पूरा काम खत्म करके आ चुके हैं वापस घर। और हमारे साथ अभिजीत हैं, जो फैमिली को घुमाने के लिए दशहरा में इधर उधर गए। और तो सबका स्वागत है। अमिताभ बच्चन स्टाइल में नमस्कार बोल दिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। काफी चीजें हैं डिस्कस करने को, लेकिन मैंने आप लोगों को मिस नहीं किया क्योंकि मैं तो पॉडकास्ट में लगा हुआ था। मैं तो लोगों से डिस्कस कर रहा था, तो मैं क्या कहते हैं, आई वाज ऑन द जॉब। खैर,
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड।
वी विल डिस्कस, लेकिन काफी टॉपिक्स हैं। So one thing which I wanted to tell is that on Thursday when the matches get on Thursday, ये Thursday को जब कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, सारी टीम्स 5 मैच खेल चुका होगा। तो आई थिंक
हम्म।
थर्सडे एक सिग्निफिकेंट माइलस्टोन है कि यू विल हैव,
ट्रू।
हमें पता चलेगा कि किस तरीके से जा रहा है, मतलब वेयर वेयर इट इज हेडिंग। ऑब्वियसली नाउ आल्सो वी कैन प्रेडिक्ट कि व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, बट एनीवेज एक माइलस्टोन हो जाएगा। दूसरा ये है कि कल जो मैच हुआ उस पे मतलब रिएक्शंस बहुत ज्यादा है। राइट, द मैच तो एक तरीके से हुआ, उसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, लेकिन रिएक्शंस बहुत ज्यादा हुआ। So I specifically wanted to start with Pakistan versus Afghanistan, and I'll tell you the top three reasons of it. एक, suddenly one of those matches जहां पे हम सारे कह रहे थे कि शायद स्टेडियम भरा नहीं ये वो, there was this sudden match which came, and I think it's been increasing, but कल का मैच 100% फुल था। व्यूअरशिप आप मानोगे नहीं, एट वन पॉइंट मैं हॉटस्टार में चेक कर रहा था, 2 करोड़ लोग देख रहे थे। तो ये एक सिग्निफिकेंट, बिकॉज व्हेन द मैच गेट्स स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग थ्रिलिंग, राइट, तो अपने आप चीजें भरने लगता है। सेकंड इज द अफगानिस्तान विन इटसेल्फ, की मतलब हाउ कम अ टीम which is known to carry good spinners and only being able to restrict their opponents, वो एक ऐसा क्लिनिकल चेस एस कर देता वो, मतलब आई अनबिलीवेबल था। And third is the kind of support which Afghanistan got from across the fraternity. I understand कि मतलब the underdog is always played well, मतलब वो होता ही है कि underdog को ही सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस दिया जाएगा। बट यहाँ अफगानिस्तान के फैंस कुछ ज्यादा ही है, मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल दैट इसको जिग कहते हैं, क्या कहते हैं, जब इरफान पठान जस्ट केम ऑफ एंड started dancing with
या
Rizwan and all. So those were heartwarming pictures, मतलब कि इतना सपोर्ट कैसे सडनली एक टीम के लिए है।
यू मीन
सो विल
रशीद खान,
डिस्कस,
राइट?
या विद राशिद खान। सो मतलब सो these are all heartwarming things, so I wanted to speak about it. So first I'll go to Abhijit, because offline news में तो अभिजीत माहिर है। उन्होंने आज बड़े बड़े न्यूज चैनल, वेब न्यूज चैनल्स के इसमें जाके अपना ये दिया उन्होंने, ही गेव अ लॉट ऑफ हिज इनपुट्स। एक ही था कि उन्होंने अपने खुद को ए आर रहमान की तरह बार बार कॉपी किया। कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, बात तो अच्छा था। तो सर, ये जो स्टेडियम भरना, इतना मैच लोगों ने देखा, हाउ कम सडनली, मतलब वेयर डू थिंक, आप क्या
I,
सोचते
I
हैं इस
still
मैच?
think the stadium one is a farce. मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैचेस में स्टेडियम्स भरने वाले हैं, एटलीस्ट नॉट इन द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द गेम। वो अभी भी पैथेटिक ही लगता है। आज वाले मैच में भी फर्स्ट हाफ में भी कुछ खास क्राउड था नहीं। सेकंड हाफ शाम हो जाता तो थोड़ा बेटर क्राउड होता है। एंड आई फील अनलेस दे रिड्यूस द टिकट प्राइसेस लाइक नॉन इंडिया मैच, इंडिया मैचेस तो प्रॉपर स्कैम है। आई डोंट नो अ सिंगल पर्सन जिसने बुक माई शो से टिकट खरीदा है। आई डोंट नो एनीबडी। Everybody is buying through this stout, that stout, 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, or passes, whatever. But non-India matches, still they put the price down to 500 rupees or maybe 200 rupees or something. Stadium is not going to, and that is shame on BCCI. Absolute shame on BCCI. And because this World Cup, okay, me, you, Bhaskar are cricket mad people. Okay, let's accept it. But for majority people, this World Cup is going to get very boring because top three teams have actually run away. Okay, these three are going to be semi-finalists come what may. अभी एक रेस फोर्थ का ही रह गया, ठीक है. That will also peter out. I mean, you will come to know it very soon. For all means and purposes, okay, we'll come to that topic differently, separately. So, and it's too long a World Cup. The semi-final is actually roughly around 20 days away from today. So people will lose interest at some point. There will be a saturation at some point. So that I feel is an issue. Coming to that Pakistan-Afghanistan match, I think India have a role to play in this, not because as a host. I think the Indian team ना दोनों टीम India दो teams का पूरा mentally damage कर चुका है. एक श्रीलंका का by that 50 all out at Colombo. Sri Lanka haven't recovered from that. They look a pathetic side today. In fact, if you ask me, of all the 10 teams playing, Sri Lanka looked the worst side. And the second is Pakistan को जिसको Indian team ने उतना नहीं किया जितना Ahmedabad crowd ने किया. It was a rare instance where the Ahmedabad crowd, or rather an Indian crowd, stood up and spoke against something which Pakistanis have always been doing, showcasing their other aspects of life, which is not related to sports. आप 151 no loss बनाते हो, आप तुरंत सोचते हो कि you do such antics on the field so that you can market some other aspect of your life and not on the cricketing aspect. So that I think that Indian Ahmedabad crowd standing up and protesting and just chanting, a religious chant itself has got them up. Because for long they thought that what they were doing, I mean, Pakistan used to think what they were doing was correct, but now they know that they are being hated for that, and it has been interpreted in one way. I don't know whether they thought it that way or not, but one way. Pakistan definitely look a very, very ordinary team now. I always felt they are a 2.5 bowling attack team with Naseem Shah out and their spinners totally out of depth. They are nowhere, and I always felt they are always a 2.5 batting unit. They are looking even worse than that. And yesterday 283 was a very good score. I think most teams would have defended 283, most teams, but their fielding was pathetic. In fact, जब होता है ना, जब टीम हारती है तो सभी लोग वाट लगाते हैं. वसीम अकरम ने कल बोला भी है कि इन लोग इतना मटन खाते हैं, they become very lazy and fat. Basically that's what Wasim Akram has said. Although I don't think this comment was needed, because these are the same guys who have said in the 90s कि boss Indian bowlers, they don't eat mutton and chicken and all, and that's why जब प्रसाद कुंबले श्रीनाथ bowling करता था, boss ये non-veg नहीं खाते, that's why इनमें killer instinct नहीं, इनमें strength नहीं है, हमारे में strength है. Today that same dude 25 years later is saying the ulta thing. So that was not done actually, but whatever. So they look a pathetic side. I think Afghanistan, too, if you ask me, surprised me. I didn't expect their opening Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz to start off that well with a target which was pretty steep, and then they did that. But having said that, Afghanistan lack the elite winners mentality, which in India and Australia have. In a tournament, आप पहली मैच जीतोगे, second मैच जीतोगे, let us secure our semi-final spot first and then do things. Afghanistan lost their very first match to Bangladesh, which really they had no business losing, but they lost that, and there'll always be catch-up game. Now, they have to win the next two games against Sri Lanka and Netherlands, and hope that Australia and South Africa, one of them, play a second-string team and then they win. So Afghanistan actually have a long shot for the semi-finals. But yeah, yesterday was fun. Yesterday was an upset. I think Afghanistan woke up after they beat England. Bhaskar always said they have the best spin attack around, but I don't think they believed it till they actually beat England, which was a superstar team. Rajiv.
भाई साहब, इतना लंबा प्रवचन दिया आपने. इस बीच में आप अगर भास्कर की शक्ल एक बार भी देख लेते ना स्क्रीन पे, तो आपको समझ में आता है कि आप किस तरीके से, मतलब उनको वो बात करने के लिए बेताब हो रहे हैं. उनकी शक्ल बिल्कुल ना वकार, कल जब वकार की हालत हुई थी ना, मैंने प्रिंट स्क्रीन लिया है. मुझे पता था आप कहोगे करके, मैंने प्रिंट स्क्रीन लेके रखा है. आपको व्हाट्सएप पे अलग से भेजता हूँ कि आपकी शक्ल कैसे, मतलब अगर वहां अभिजीत होते तो आप मार देते थे शायद. खैर, ये क्वेश्चन मैंने स्पेसिफिकली इसी के लिए मैंने भास्कर के लिए रखा है कि कल ये जो चेस है, राइट, इतना कैसे एस कर दिया. मतलब मैं तो दंग रह गया. एंड यू, वन ऑफ द रीजंस इज दैट मैं इतना इन्वॉल्व हो गया मैच पे. बहुत लोगों ने मुझे पूछा, एंड भास्कर, आफ्टर द स्टेटमेंट आई विल गिव यू ऑल द थिंग वाज, वन ऑफ द फ्रेंड्स कॉल्ड एंड सेड कि 30 रन हैं, अराउंड 28 बॉल्स कुछ बचे हैं, why don't they just hit now? तो 8 विकेट बचे हैं. तो I said no, last couple of games they've gone very close to the Pakistan team and lost in the last overs. They don't want to do it. They're just cleaning, मतलब last minute तक पैनिक ही नहीं हुआ वो. So कैसे हुआ, कैसे किया इन लोगों ने?
If you see, last few years, even उनकी batting, it's been improving, and they've been getting close to 280, 270 targets. They're getting close to it. And if you see all the upsets over the years, it's always been batting first. Take, for instance, Sri Lanka defeating India in 79, or Zimbabwe. I think that's the mother of all upsets. Zimbabwe beating Australia in their first ever ODI game. And I think that's the greatest upset. Again, batting first. So I think you always see upsets, but once you see a team chasing, that means they're already getting into the next level. See, we saw Sri Lanka used to be a minnow team, but then you saw them chasing and winning against bigger teams. Sanat Jayasuriya changed everything. You to just used to come and thrash the opposition, and the other team, the other players like Hashar Tilakaratne and Roshan Mahanama just had to do the finishing job when the asking run rate used to be very low. So I think that's the kind of chase they did. Of course, Pakistan's fielding has been pathetic. You know that I went for the Australia versus Pakistan game, and it was their catching that let them down. If Osama Mir had taken one of the easiest of catches of David Warner, the whole story would have been different in that particular game. So I think Afghanistan, their batting has started clicking. They are getting to those totals of 280, 290. I still doubt whether they can chase 320, 330 down against a proper team. I think reaching the semi-finals was never their target. I think they create a few flutters, they win a few games. I think 8 points if they can defeat Netherlands. I think it would be a big thing. I think even if they get to 8 points, that will be big enough for them. And if they spoil the party of some other team, still I believe. I always thought the 4 teams which are going to reach the semi-finals. I think it's on those lines. Pakistan and England are the only 2 teams which probably can get there. I don't see Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Netherlands get anywhere close to the semi-finals. So that's what I would say. Afghanistan has started chasing well, and I think you remember even in the 2007 World Cup, after scoring 190, we thought somehow we'll win because it's Bangladesh, but they chased that down. And then that's when we realized that these people are not like just rollovers. So I think Afghanistan are reaching that stage now. People just can't take them lightly and say it's another win. So that's what I think. I think the batting is really, really improving. Rajiv.
ये कल मतलब 2-3 चीजें बताता हूँ. फर्स्ट विकेट पार्टनरशिप 130, सेकंड विकेट पार्टनरशिप 80, थर्ड विकेट पार्टनरशिप 96. मतलब कौन ऐसा करता है, कौन इस तरीके से खेलता है. कल तो मतलब एक इट इज नॉट अबाउट. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एज आप लोगों ने तो बहुत पहले ही बोला हुआ है, हम सबको मानना चाहिए. कल तो मेनी पीपल सेड दिस इज नॉट एन अपसेट. सो लेट्स क्लियर दैट इट्स नॉट एन अपसेट. इट इज जस्ट दैट द higher placed team was defeated by a lower ranked team. That's it. Let's say that way. The thing is, this template which Afghanistan gave yesterday is the perfect template to play in India and win matches. You go at a very reasonable pace in the first 15-20 overs, risk-free cricket खेलो, भागो, ones, twos को convert करो, and then when you know. So I'll give you an example. कल हसन अली का बॉल काफी रिवर्स स्विंग होने लग गया था लास्ट में. So he bowled 2 overs, so they were not able to hit through the line. लेकिन पता नहीं रहमत शाह को पता था कि शायद वो एक बॉल तो बिकॉज ही इज ट्राइंग टू स्विंग द बॉल, वो फुल लेंथ डालेगा, और दोनों बॉल को छक्का मारा उसने अलग अलग ओवर में सेम तरीके से मारा. सो इट वाज मतलब दे वर एज कूल एज अ कुकम्बर. मतलब मैंने ऐसा चेस बहुत दिन से नहीं देखा. दिस वाज एब्सोल्यूट. मतलब एक तरीके से कहते हैं ना, वो एक द बेस्ट चेज यू कैन एवर इमेजिन. ये नहीं कि कोई ब्रूटल था या बीच में आके कुछ ये कर गया, कुछ नहीं, कमाल अमाल कुछ नहीं. जस्ट नॉर्मल चेज एंड दे जस्ट डिड नॉट पैनिक. नाउ अभिजीत, आई विल कम टू दिस क्वेश्चन. आपने मतलब जैसे ESPN क्रिकेट फो के वेबसाइट में भी लिखा आपने, ये भी one of the things which you mentioned is that you obviously mentioned that Pakistan were getting into offline things which probably put them in a lot of distraction and all this stuff. So I wanted to know कि ठीक है, मतलब जो distraction है उसके बारे में बात करके कोई फायदा नहीं है, but I'm just saying कि how can a team which has मतलब बॉलिंग के लिए जो जाना जाता है और एक नसीम शाह के अनअवेलेबिलिटी की वजह से वो इस तरीके से, एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू इट रियली. मैं कल, अब मेरा एक फ्रेंड है, पाकिस्तानी फ्रेंड हु लिव्स इन आउट ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया. मैंने बोला भाई ये सकलेन मुश्ताक और सईद अजमल के मतलब उस विरासत के लोग हैं, ये कहाँ से, मतलब ये तो the spinners had zero idea about what they're bowling. And I had a podcast with Mr. Amit Ranade, who was coming to the podcast for the last 2 times. He पहले ही बोल दिया था उन्होंने, मुझे ऑफलाइन फोन करके भी बोला, देख ले बेटा शादाब वापस आएगा, नवाज for some reason will not play. And that's what happened. So they don't know what is their 11. So ये आपको क्या लगता है, व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम विद पाकिस्तान? आई मीन ठीक है, कैप्टनसी सब मानता हूँ, लेकिन बेसिक स्किल्स जो उनका बॉलिंग है वही क्यों नहीं दिखा पा रहे?
As I said, I think they started the tournament well. They started with 2 wins. India-Pakistan match was the mother of all encounters, and there was massive hype behind that match. Everything changed after that match, and I don't think they're going to recover for some time now. बाबर ने शायद कल बोला कि नसीम शाह मिसिंग is, I don't think Naseem Shah missing is the reason. They have a battery of pacers back home, Mohammad Wasim Jr. and all that. But let's face it, this Pakistan attack, although we say इनका bowling attack बहुत अच्छा है, it is not at the level of their previous bowling attacks. You know, Shaheen Shah Afridi is not at the level of Wasim Akram. He's not at the level of Waqar Yunus. He's not at the level of, even Amir, Muhammad Amir jo tha unka. He's not at that level. Now, Shaheen Shah Afridi has had a few advantages. One, there were 2-3 wins against India, which were in non-ODI World Cups. T20 World Cup में एक था, Champions Trophy में. Champions Trophy में तो शाहीन शाह नहीं था, but जो Asia Cup एक था उसमें, there he took some early wickets. And typically क्या है ना, India and England are two teams, इनके against आप कुछ भी कमाल करो, you get a lot of mileage out of that. That's where Shaheen Shah came in. Of course, he does well. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad bowler, but there were certain days he has done well, but that doesn't mean he's of the level of their past greats. Nowhere is of that level. So that is one thing we need to factor in. Second of all, their spin attack is bare. I mean, their spin attack is worse than India's. The best of हमारे जो ईरानी ट्रॉफी के फाइनल में जो स्पिनर्स खेले थे उससे भी बर्बाद है उनका स्पिन अटैक. इनफैक्ट नवाज इज अ बेटर स्पिनर देन शादाब. आई डिडंट फाइंड एनी रीजन व्हाई नवाज वाज नॉट प्लेइंग. इनफैक्ट इन द वर्ल्ड कप वी आर रीचिंग एट अ स्टेज कि fast pitch mein we should play Shami and spin pitch mein we should play Ashwin. I mean, go with 3 spinners because we are reaching that stage. And probably, as you said, Afghanistan showed us the template. कि अगर 270, 280 wicket hai, you can play 3 spinners and it helps you defend. But coming to Afghanistan, I also think they had a personal agenda. Ki we will beat Pakistan come what, for political reasons or whatever, offline reasons. But they had a personal agenda. They were very calm under fire, and they celebrated mad. They were celebrating with the Indian crowds. They were celebrating with an Indian commentator, Irfan Khan. So they clearly had an agenda. They clearly wanted the images to go out to the world. He was, we enjoyed this along with India beating. And let's not forget, Afghanistan, none of their players showcased any of these off. उन्होंने भी 50 मारा, उन्होंने भी wickets गए. वो कोई जमीन पे गिर के, they didn't start, those religious practices which Pakistan do it at a drop of a hat. I mean, you can do after the match or after the play when the cameras are not on you. Why do it on cameras? Afghanistan players never did it. So I guess the reasons lie somewhere in between, and Pakistan will take some time to recover. Let us not forget, उनको होम में कम मैचेस मिलते हैं. उनके होम में ट्रैक्स एकदम प्लासिड हो चुका है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया आके उनको होम में बीट कर चुका है. इंग्लैंड आके उनको होम में बीट कर चुका है इन डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट्स. सो आई थिंक their bubble is burst. I don't see them doing much in this World Cup. Rajiv.
Yeah, I agree. They wanted to put up a statement, and they also got some of the decisions very correct. अभी जैसे जॉनथन ट्रॉट से बढ़िया कोच नहीं मिल सकता जो इतना काम रहता है, एंड इस प्ले टेस्ट क्रिकेट में अच्छा खेला इंडिया में, so he knows these conditions. And then that getting Ajay Jadeja probably was, मतलब कोई नहीं सोच सकता. अजय जडेजा आज तक शायद कहीं पे भी कंसल्टेंट नहीं था, बट वो लेके आया एंड ही न्यू अबाउट दीज कंडीशंस एंड ऑल. ऑफ कोर्स अफगानिस्तान के काफी प्लेयर्स आईपीएल भी खेलते हैं, उन्होंने भी ये कंडीशंस में खेला हुआ है, सो दे नो फ्यू थिंग्स बेटर. एंड सब कह रहे थे, इनफैक्ट यू रिमेंबर वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट पॉडकास्ट, विल अफगानिस्तान अपसेट पाकिस्तान करके हमारा एक्चुअली एक डिस्कशन था. हमने कहा नहीं, probably a bigger team they will defeat करके, लेकिन the manner in which they went, it looked like they were planning this for a very long time. बहुत लंबा दौर से प्लानिंग चल रहा था कि इसको ऐसे हराना है, because they know they can do it. Bhaskar, I'll come to you and I want only a Pakistani perspective. अभिजीत आधा ही आंसर दिया, आप में भी पूरा कर सकते हैं. बॉलिंग उनकी फेल क्यों हुई, ये एक. सेकंड, तो स्पिन क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे वो लोग, स्पिन, why they could not produce those kind of spinners. Second, is Shaheen Shah Afridi injured? I think he's 100% injured. That's why Wasim Akram pointed out कि 2 साल से उन्होंने फिटनेस टेस्ट ही नहीं कराया, बिकॉज फिटनेस टेस्ट कराएंगे तो एक दो वहां पे निकल जाएंगे. दे हैव कैरीड एन इंजर्ड फकर जमान इनटू दिस वन, बिकॉज दे वर सेइंग कि फकर जमान को खिलाओ, तो बोले नहीं नहीं वो तो अभी इंजर्ड है करके. तो ये मतलब दे कैरिंग सम इंजर्ड प्लेयर्स, एंड इंजर्ड प्लेयर्स के साथ आप कभी कुछ जीत नहीं सकते. और तीसरा मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली उनका जो टॉप 5 बैट्समैन है ना, सारे के सारे एक ही टेम्पलेट से खेलते हैं. कोई देयर इज नो disruption anywhere. This format demands a disruption. For example, in India, Rohit Sharma has taken on himself कि मैं disrupt करूंगा इस बैटिंग लाइनअप को. बाकी सब टीम में गुरबाज था अफगानिस्तान से, who went on for his shots, right? So पाकिस्तान नहीं क्योंकि है वैसे, मतलब उनकी कोई गलती नहीं है. This is the way they have been playing, right? So you suggested अभिजीत, आपने बोला था फकर जमान को खिलाओ क्योंकि वो डिसरप्ट कर सकता है, लेकिन वो है ही नहीं, मतलब बिकॉज ही इज इंजर्ड. सो अब क्या मतलब वाई ऑल इतना प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ कैसे आ सकते हैं वर्ल्ड कप में? कहाँ गलती हुआ भास्कर, आप बताएं.
हाँ देखिए, शाहीन शाह अफरीदी is still probably the best bowler. Even the other day when I was watching Australia Pakistan, he was the one who came back and got Pakistan back into the game. He took 5 wickets. 5 wicket haul on that kind of a wicket was sensational, I would say. It's just that they just delayed him too much. And Haris Rauf, I think, yeah, is just he just is a one-dimensional pace bowler who just keeps bowling. You remember the Tino Best? He used to bowl 150. Yeah? Like how many wickets he took? He just took one test wicket probably in 10 test matches. I remember he took one test wicket and he was jumping around all over the place. This guy is like that. He just comes and bowls at 150. But it's these days, batsmen are not like, you can't really make them hop. And because batsmen are ready to play genuine pace. Okay, if it's a wet pitch with green top and then you have a red cherry in your hand, you can do a bit of things. But on this kind of a flat wicket, people are not going to get like hassled by pace, especially people like David Warner or Mitchell Marsh. So I think that's where Haris Rauf was getting thrashed all over the place. And the spin bowling is very poor. Okay, yeah, the only quality spinner they've had for the last so many years is Yasir Shah. And I don't know, Osama Mir is just 9 or 10 ODIs old, and Shadab and Mohammad Nawaz are pretty average bowlers. I would say they are in the maybe Jayant Yadav, Shahbaz Nadeem level bowlers. So I don't think they can really create a flutter. It has to be their fast bowling, which has been their strength all through. But one mistake again they made against Australia was to field first. Yesterday we saw them putting up a fight because they batted first. Again, if they had, suppose Afghanistan had scored 320, 315, Pakistan would have folded for 280, 270. And there would have been yesterday at least they had a chance. And again, 10 overs, Mohammad Nabi bowls for 31 runs without a wicket. And I think that's serious, man. Like Mohammad Nabi is not some Shane Warne or Muthiah Muralidharan that you play him out for 31 runs. And Rashid Khan gave 44 runs, 40, 45 runs. And Mohammad Nabi gave 10 overs, 31 runs. It's serious, man. There's like this day and age, 31 runs is like
it's
ridiculous, man. It's like can't even imagine. Like it's almost playing like 10 maiden overs they have played.
वो कहते हैं ना, जरूरत से ज्यादा इज्जत दिया.
No, I can't believe that he's like he gave 3.1 an over when the score they have scored 282 runs. Like 280 run मारे हैं और सिर्फ मोहम्मद नबी के if they had scored another 20 runs they would have got to 300. So you can't
वो 280
और मोहम्मद
इफ्ती चाचा की वजह से आया.
और ऐसा भी नहीं कि मोहम्मद नबी ने 2-3 विकेट ले लिए कि उसको डिफेंड करना पड़ रहा है. And he didn't take a single wicket. So I don't know what was the plan behind playing Mohammad Nabi so like cautiously. Rashid Khan I can understand. He's a world-class spinner, isn't it? So that's where I think they lost the plot yesterday. They could have easily scored 315, and then it would have been a game. Again against Pakistan, against Australia, if they had scored 300, if they had batted first, scored 305 and taken those catches, they would have beaten Australia. I'm telling you. The way they were chasing, we thought they can get close to that target. But again, they lost the wicket. Their lower middle order is quite weak. Iftikhar has those shots, but again, does he have the quality to really go all the way? Is doubtful. Anyway, so that's how it is.
मैं यही बोला था कि जो 280 भी पहुंचा वो तो इफ्ती चाचा और शादाब ने जो दो बड़े-बड़े हिट्स लगाए ना उसकी वजह से हुआ.
But the batting is falling.
250 पे क्लोज थे वो लोग.
But the batting is falling into place. The way they batted against Australia was quite impressive, I would say. 305 is not a small.
No, definitely they batted very well. But the problem is कि वो पांचों के पांचों जो 5 पांडव है ना उनके जो शुरुआत में आ रहे हैं, मतलब अब्दुल्ला शफीक से सऊद शकील, सबके सब एक ही टेम्पलेट पे खेलते हैं. They don't go after bowling. Rizwan now has started to go after bowling, but it is not his natural game. So नूर अहमद को इसीलिए उसने विकेट दिया कल. नो वे।
Rizwan is and Iftikhar is the only one who can really up the
हाँ
tempo
वो,
there.
लेकिन इफ्तिकार 43rd ओवर में आ रहा है ना,
हाँ
तो फिर क्या
but I
करेंगे
think
वो?
yeah, but no, if see the thing is depends on the kind of total you are chasing. If you're chasing 370, you have to play with a different approach. If you're chasing 290, it's a different approach. Okay, so that's how it is. So anyway, that's Pakistan's story. So
चलिए, आई थिंक वी
anyway,
डाइसेक्टेड एनफ अब।
if you watch Iftikhar's shot, no, that first six he hit of in the match against Australia, you can see me in the stands. Okay.
चलो देखते हैं ये। नहीं, मैं तो एक ही चीज कहूंगा कि ठीक है, पाकिस्तान का जो है सो है, मतलब ऑल आई कैन से इज कि पाकिस्तान ब्रिंग सम, एक मैच में थोड़ा सा कलर लाता है।
Right.
अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो नहीं, वो खुद ही मतलब अपने ही धुन में पड़े हुए हैं।
Yeah.
चलिए आते हैं एक छोटा सा डिस्कशन जो हमारा रह गया था, इंडिया वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड। जबरदस्त मैच हुआ, अच्छा खासा मतलब ये हुआ। एंड एक कहते हैं ना कि मतलब वी न्यू दैट इंडिया वुड डिफीट न्यूजीलैंड, बिकॉज जो भी डिफीट्स हुए वो फॉरेन कंडीशंस में हुए। इंडियन कंडीशंस में T20 में 2016 में हारे थे हम लोग। सो नाउ दैट न्यूजीलैंड वो जो एक मेंटल ब्लॉक या जो भी कहने वो हट गया है, हाउ स्ट्रांग डू यू सी इंडिया गोइंग थ्रू? मतलब साउथ अफ्रीका इज लुकिंग वेरी स्ट्रांग। सो आप क्या सोचते हैं? भास्कर, आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं।
Yeah. See now, there's no doubt. Now India is almost through to the semi-finals. Okay, so we can't just we'll have to lose all the games to get knocked out. So that's unlikely to happen. Whatever we have the last Netherlands game. So to if at all we need to catch up on the net run rate, something goes horribly wrong. Now my worry is how we're going to play in the knockouts and what are we going to do if we win the toss. You know my views very, very well. What has happened over the years, history. Again, if suppose India plays South Africa, you get even in the last game against New Zealand, we were not very comfortable. If Virat, suppose instead of Surya Kumar Yadav, if Virat had got run out, then what might have happened? You don't know. The only great thing that has happened is that Jadeja is 35. It was like I'm really glad Jadeja scored that 35. That was the need of the hour. Jadeja needed to get some runs. I think once Hardik is back, I think things will fall into place. I don't think you can now drop Mohammad Shami. I think he's just too great a bowler. You can't the runs he would score. Look at Shardul Thakur versus Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shami can also score 10-12 runs. If Shardul Thakur scores 25 runs, Mohammad Shami will score 10-12 runs. And he's just up there with the best fast bowlers of all times, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be very dicey if to leave him out. The way he has, and he's been probably India's best bowler in the last two World Cups. 2015, he dominated. He was probably one of the reasons we bowled oppositions out time and again in Australia. I think it would probably in come the big game, you will need to pick on Mohammad Shami. So one more thing that they might think is, would Shami replace? Would Siraj be the one to sit out? That could be another option which they might look at. If Shami becomes undroppable, the way he bowled, I don't think he's droppable anymore. So they might keep Siraj out and get Shardul Thakur in. So I don't think there can be more changes. I don't think on any of the semi-final conditions or the final conditions we're going to play three spinners. So we would need three top quality seamers. So that I think that's what it is. Most of it is in place. I still hope if India wins the toss, they start batting first from now on. Especially come the big games, I think they should bat first. Rajiv.
आई थिंक लखनऊ का पिच अभी जो लंदन जो संडे को खेलने वाले हैं, इट्स अ बिग स्टेडियम, सो बैट फर्स्ट इज अ गुड ऑप्शन। और ऑल्सो मुझे क्या लगता है कि जसप्रीत बुमराह और सिराज को कहीं ना कहीं दे विल गिव वन रेस्ट तो बनता ही है उनका नॉकआउट से पहले। तो वहां पे तो शमी को भी शायद एक रेस्ट मिल जाए। तो दे आर गोइंग टू रोटेट फ्यू ऑफ दीज प्लेयर्स एंड गेट शार्दुल टू बॉल अ बिट मोर। लुक्स लाइक शार्दुल में प्ले अगेंस्ट नेदरलैंड्स, क्योंकि डर यही है कि कल को चाहिए तो मैं क्या करूंगा। सो दे हैव टू कीप दीज प्लेयर्स फ्रेश। सो फाइन, आई थिंक यू स्पॉट ऑन। आपने मतलब सब कुछ सही बोला है अभी तक तो, कि सब सही चल गया एंड जडेजा का वो जो बैटिंग था वो सही हो गया। तो अभिजीत, मैं आपके पास आता हूँ कि अब जब ये सारे मतलब ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग एंड ऑल दो स्टफ, इंडिया अभी पांड्या मतलब पांड्या का जो केस है, किसी को भी अभी सच नहीं पता। इज ही कॉटन वुल रैप्ड, आके बॉलिंग करेगा कि नहीं करेगा कुछ नहीं पता। आपको कुछ अंदर का खबर कुछ भी मतलब नहीं पता, ट्राई तो
No,
कर
I
लेते।
don't think that. No, I don't think there is anything major with Pandya. He's quite okay. It's a minor injury, and I think they will keep him. He's going to play the semi-finals, come what may. Now everything is about how we are going to do the play the semi-finals. Okay, बाकी सब तो it's all we've already got there. Okay, and once you know you're in the semi-finals, 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't matter. If you are one, you're going to play Australia. So being two, it doesn't make much of a difference. The top 4 teams are all very good. So usually what happens in tennis, for example, one plays four. So there's a huge difference between 1 and 4. So it becomes easy for the number 1 to play the number 4 seed. But in cricket, it's not like that. So usually the number 4 team sometimes is as good a team as the number 2 or number 3 team. So the rankings is the number top 4 being, once you're in the top 4, doesn't make much of a difference what position you finish. That's why the IPL format is much more better, where you get some incentive of finishing in the top 2. So that's what I feel. Now it's all about how we're going to play in the semi-finals. So that's where I feel India needs to start thinking about batting first. Especially, see, most likely India's semi-final is going to be in Mumbai, isn't it? With Pakistan getting knocked out. So, and see, look what South Africa did today. So if some team bats first against India and get to 360, 370, like what happened in Johannesburg in 2003, then you're already always playing catch up. Especially we have something bad happens, like Rohit Sharma gets out, we have 2 for 1, and then you have Virat there. And then we are just staring down the barrel straight away. So I think we need to look at batting first. We have Bumrah, Shami, Jadeja, Kuldeep. If we get a good enough total, we can defend any total. So if you see the last game also, we were in a bit of trouble. Two of the few matches, I think 5 matches, we've been in trouble. Of course, Kohli has bailed us out. But there will be a time when if Kohli fails, what next? So I think we need to look at that. Rajesh.
एक छोटा सा चीज था,
Mhm.
so we are all old timers, right? And we have very less time. So KL Rahul और बहुत आगे आके he tries to play, he misses it. In normal terms वो LBW नहीं कहलाता। मैं तो इतना आगे बढ़ गया, कहाँ से LBW होगा? लेकिन DRS ने उसको LBW दिया, saying कि वो 3 मीटर्स से कुछ 0.2 मीटर्स कुछ पीछे था, मतलब 200 सेंटीमीटर पीछे था, जो भी था।
हाँ.
सो डू मतलब ये बाद में भी हो सकता है। सो डू प्लेयर्स मतलब अभी कैसे, हाउ डू दे प्रिपेयर देमसेल्व्स?
See, because that's why people have started playing using their bat more. एक जमाना था कि you remember Jimmy Adams, what he used to do. These days he can't do it.
Adams.
So if it hits you outside the off stump, if it's going like if no shot offered you, if it's going to hit the stump, you'll be out. So those days are gone. So you use your bat as much as possible. Don't allow the ball to hit your pads. तो वो एक चीज है. So you play ahead of your pads. अगर देखो तो Kohli, that's what he does. He plays ahead of his pads. Even Sachin had started doing it towards the end of his career when DRS had come in. So I think
7
that's why you
batsmen.
have to.
तो अभिजीत ने टाइम इसलिए अभिजीत को भी बात करने का मौका देते, वो
हाँ
वकार मूड में
yeah.
वकार मूड में चले
हाँ
गए वो भी। तो
हाँ
7 बैटर्स आप ठीक, आप ओके हैं अभिजीत? 7 बैटर्स ही रहेंगे अगर शमी खेलता। आई एम इन अग्रीमेंट, शमी हैज टू प्ले। तो 7 बैटर्स आर यू
I
ओके?
don't know. No, I still believe Shardul has a role to play. Shardul, I said Shardul because out of Shardul, Shami and Ashwin, Shardul is the fittest guy, and we will have injuries. We are still 20 days away from the semi-final, and there are 4-5 matches still to play. I think India-New Zealand one was, I will give India more credit than what Bhaskar gave, that that we were lucky to win it and this happened, that happened. I think India played that match where the law of averages caught up. That was a match where Kuldeep got tonked. That doesn't happen every day. He's the best spinner in the tournament by a margin. That was a day where India dropped 2 catches. That doesn't happen every day. That was a day where Gill and Rohit virtually gifted away wickets, and Surya Kumar Yadav gifted away wickets. That's not going to happen every day. So I think that that match was, again, the weather was totally, it was, Dharamshala was more like Dunedin weather than like Delhi weather. So actually everything was for New Zealand, and then posted a good total, but they lost. So I think India would think that even when the law of averages catches up with us, we can still win the match. And it was a terrific win, the New Zealand one. But having said that, I think India have chased all these 5 matches. If my memory fails me, they've chased all 5 matches. So that question mark will come up. कि बॉस हम इतने सारे मैचेस चेस करके जीते हैं, should we chase or should we back? And there is that due factor, and India India are known to succumb in the semi-final stage. So honestly, it's a guess, but I don't think Shiraz will withdraw. India have a problem of plenty now, which no other team has. And let's not forget, at the start of the program, हम पाकिस्तान की bowling कैसे गई, कैसी हवा हो गई, हम discuss कर रहे थे. We have to just rewind 1.5 months back in the Asia Cup. Pakistan had got India 66 for 4. We were down on the mat. We could have been 140 all out. From there, we scored some 260 in a 240 pitch. A few days later, in a 240 pitch, we scored some 360 runs. That's where a bowling attack can fall apart totally. And I think we have a very solid. जो हम लोग अभी बात करते हैं इफ्तिकार के बारे में, मैक्सवेल के बारे में and all that. I read somewhere that India का सबसे बड़ा solidity ये है कि Rahul is in form and he comes bang in the middle of the order. If you see other teams, Glenn Phillips is a hit and miss player. Iftikhar is a hit and miss player. If you compare the same slot में हर एक team का, they all have hit and miss player. But we have a proper batsman there, Rahul. And of course, if Pandya and Jadeja comes up, that becomes great. I don't think Pandya's injury is great. It didn't look great. I mean, it didn't look a big injury during the incident, but because he's made of cotton.
चलिए खत्म हो रहा है. We have to close it. One thing is, we'll do a review of all the 10 teams और जो भी है on Thursday. So आप prepared रहें. So thank you for joining, Bhaskar, Abhijit. Thanks. And good night. Shubhratri सबको. Bye bye.